So now we're going to go back and we're going to create the invoice. We're going to apply the retainer. So we're going to create an invoice for a specific amount and then apply the retainer. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to show you here under my products and services, here's retainer applied and retainer received. And then if we come over here and just pick income and expense account, pull this out, you're going to see that this is the same. See, all three of these retainers are onto the 23 account. So that's the header account. Remember, we did the header in the beginning when we received the initial retainer one, and we booked it to the header, and then we used a journal entry to move it out. Same thing's going to apply here. So now let's go over to our customers, which you can change the name to client. And then I'm going to come over to Aldrich, which I think he's right here at the top. And that's who we put the bill, we put the expenses and the time in for, remember? So I'm going to come to William Aldrich. And you can see that there's billable expense and a time charge, right? So you can see they're all right here. So we can just come over here and create an invoice. And now you'll see they're right here in the tray. So we can add them. So we're going to add the time. We're going to add the other expense. It's time to bill him. And then he's not going to get billed. He's already paid me like $15,000 in retainers. So I'm just going to apply the retainer to this so that we can show that this has been paid by retainer. So I'm just going to do retainer applied. It's in the retainer received and retainer applied, exactly the same, just different language so that I can have the words populate. So that's how I use it, and I kind of can track it. It's a separate product, so I can actually track it in reports. If you do a report by product, you'll be able to see all the retainers applied, all the retainers received under separate. You can, total it up by client, so that works out as well. And then since this bill came to $1,040, I'm going to put a -1 here, because I'm going to be applying it, right? And I'm going to put 1040. And I'm going to put Alicia back here. So this is going to be a zero invoice to my client. So here you'll see this. And then on the message, so I saved it, but on the message line, I want you to write in the message line, original retainer received. And you want to put this in because you want this to be in the language of the invoice so that the client has complete visibility. This is how much money I had, original retainer balance, or you can do retainer balance as of blah, blah, blah date, and then put the amount that's in there. And then the next line will be, we're applying with the invoice charge here, 1,040, apply a payment from retainer, 1,040, new balance and retainer, whatever it is. So you want to put that in here. You got to manually calculate it. And, anytime you do manual, that's where things can get a little sticky, which is why I believe in the software, because this all happens with click in the software. You don't have to do any of this, but this is how you do it manually. So I'm going to just save and close this invoice. And then now he's been invoiced. So this is a completely accounts receivable transaction, right? He's got it's been billed and paid for using the funds, the pre-deposit that we received. So if you want to have transparency here, you're not done, because now we're going to move this payment of retainer out of the retainer header, just like we did before, and drop it down into William Aldrich's account. So it's now being pulled out of the correct account. And this is the easiest way to do it, to have everything go to the header. That way you'll see it if it never got moved, and then you start to move it out. So this is the way to do it. And then again, you're going to do a journal entry. So let me just take you to the reports, and then I'm going to take you to balance sheet. And let's pull the balance sheet up. This fiscal year. Let's run the report again. Cash basis. And now let's go looking for that minus amount that we just took out of the retainer. So let's go to client trust account. Here it is, client trust liabilities. And you'll see that there's the 1040 coming out of here, but I don't want it coming out of here. I want it to come out of William Aldrich's, right? So how do I move this out of here and move it to the right place? I can't do it on the invoice. The invoice is completely done. I can't do it with products and services. You could, but it'd be a lot of work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over to the plus sign, make a journal entry, and you can start to see how this workflow is very sticky, very much part of this manual process. So I'm going to do the 2300 account, and I am going to be, let me think this through. Let me put William Aldrich here. And I want to hit that divorce line, right? So now I'm taking money out of William Aldrich's account. So I'm going to put 1040 here. It's already been taken out of the header. I'm going to clear out the header by obviously putting a transaction in here. And then you want to make notation, because there's lots of notes are important when you work with trust accounting, to clear parent account and apply to client, client letter. And you just put that in both lines. You want to copy and paste it, pop it down here, and then you will have a proper transaction. Obviously, you want to come in here and do the name. You want to put in William Aldridge divorce. William Aldridge divorce. Again, these are the things that happen real quick with the software. And you want to pick the divorce, right? You don't want to pick the header. And then obviously it would be Alicia Floric. So you want to tag her. So if you're tracking income from a particular partner, you want to use classes and start to track that. And then you want to hit save and close. Now, in a perfect world, we're going to go back to William Aldridge. We're going to refresh our screen here so you can see. When it comes back. And as we look in the balance sheet, you're now going to see that he gave us $5,000, $10,000. We already moved 5,000 out, and now we've moved 1040. So his balance is here. You could expand this and kind of copy and paste it into when you don't really want the account in there, but you can take these off, copy and paste the language if you wanted to. I mean, you could, in the invoice line, you could kind of come over here and kind of do this and clean it up. Probably better off just typing it. So, original, balance was 10,000 in his IOLTA, in his retainer account, his client ledger, and then you took 1040. So now the balance is 8,960. That's the steps for doing it manually with QuickBooks as a standalone. And obviously you're going to receive the payment on the, invoice. Now you're going to transfer the money. You're going to move the money out of trust into operating. You're going to show that as a transfer from the banks because you've already documented all of this in the accounts receivable, in the trust ledger. You still need to make the bank transfer. Always put the line item in under the bank transfer. So you just go to the plus sign, bank transfer, IOLTA to operating, and write the name, and then obviously make the transfer at the bank because that doesn't happen automatically. So I hope that's helpful. I hope this helps you kind of get through the manual process. I know it was a little bit quick, but I wanted to get through the whole process there and show you how to receive revenue off of an account where you've received the retainer and now done the work. I showed you how to record the time. I showed you how to record the expenses and how to really move the funds and get all the pieces in place to show it properly on your accounting software. Thanks for watching. Bye now.